bit, remind our listeners about ChildLink Guyana and the work that you do.
Yes, everyone. As Miranda said, I am Shakil Rodney, Childlink's Diversion Officer. And at Childlink, we're a non-governmental organization that works towards the protection for children from all forms of abuse. We also work along with the Child Protection Agency. We also work along with the police and different stakeholders in Guyana, as well as international agencies such as the European Union Delegation to Guyana, Family for Every Child, the United Nations Population Fund, and also the Ministry of Education.
All right. Well, we've been doing a number of programs with ChildLink, and today we are going to talk a little bit about Blue Umbrella Day 2024. So perhaps you can begin by telling us about what is the Blue Umbrella Day 2024 campaign all about, and what can we expect in terms of the message that you're trying to send with this particular campaign. What is the Blue Umbrella Day about?
Yes, the Blue Umbrella Day 2024 campaign is dedicated to raising awareness and addressing the issue of sexual violence against boys. It's a topic often overlooked in discussion about child protection. It also seeks to highlight that boys are also vulnerable to sexual abuse and need appropriate support and protection. So the campaign conveys a message of inclusivity in child protection policies and practices, and also it emphasizes the need of targeted interventions that cater specifically to the unique need of boys and even young men, as well as advocating for legal reforms and also better data collection to understand and combat the entire issue, especially here in Guyana, but it's also a worldwide campaign. I think Family for Every Child, the campaign is about over 25 countries. They will be celebrating the Blue Umbrella Day today, April 16, 2024.
Oh, today's Blue Umbrella Day. Okay.
That's correct, yes.
Perhaps that slipped me a bit to ask you when is the actual observance. Oh, so it's today.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So on this day, of course, like you mentioned, you want to raise awareness about a particular situation, which is abuse against boys and so on. So let us talk a little bit now about how can we as parents, caregivers, teachers, and stakeholders and so on, how can we all contribute to raising awareness on the issue of sexual violence against boys? How can we bring that, as our people would like to say, how can we highlight it?
Yeah, there's several ways, but first, persons, when it comes to a parent or a teacher or anybody, even in the community, first we want to educate ourselves and then to educate others. So there's a lot of signs that we want to learn about the signs of abuse and the specific challenges that boys are facing in reporting and dealing with sexual violence, and then to share this knowledge within your communities and other social networks because not everyone may know. So you want to first educate yourself and then to educate others. And we want to, from there now, we need to work on creating an open line of communication. So foster an environment where boys feel, safe to discuss their concerns and experience without a fear of judgment and disbelief, because this tends to happen a lot. That's why we've been seeing a decrease in reporting when boys are sexually abused. And we then want to advocate for change. So we need to support and we need to initiate advocacy campaigns for legal and policy challenges that protect boys from sexual abuse and support victims as well. And lastly, a very big thing, because we know a lot of young men are in schools and even young ladies. So we want to promote educational programs where we implement or advocate programs in schools and in communities that educate children about safety, educate them about the consent age, and also recognizing inappropriate behaviors because not everyone may know. And so these are things that you want to work on. I'll say like the four main areas where we can raise awareness on the issues of sexual violence against boys and young men.
Let's go those four again, just quickly. I think I
Yes.
might have. So let's go one, two, three, four. What are they again?
So, one, I'll just give them like short synopsis. So I'll say one is to educate yourself and then to
Educate.
educate others. And then we want to create open lines of communication, like a safe space. We want to advocate for change. And lastly, we want to promote educational programs in schools and even in our communities.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk now about the steps that we can take, or what things can be implemented to minimize sexual abuse amongst boys. What steps can be taken?
Yes, what I can say, firstly, we can implement prevention programs. So we can do prevention programs at schools and community organizations, where it should have like a robust prevention program that educate children, educate their parents, and even the staff at those schools about the risk and the signs of sexual abuse. And actually, this is something ChildLink has been doing currently. We've been working in schools on the west side in Region 3 and as well in Region 4.
Mm-hmm.
Our partners have been working in different other regions where we do prevention programs. So if it is that persons may not know what is it that they need to do, they can always contact us for more information. So that's one step. And then we can start talking about enhancing the legal protection. So work towards the closing gap in legal protections that leave boys vulnerable to abuse. So this is working along with the policies and the different persons in government, the government officials, to see how we can, revamp and also highlight the issues that are affecting boys. Because as a society, we tend to focus more on the girls and we left the boys on the back end. And so we want to work on our policies when it comes to boys and young men.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll say lastly, just improve the surveillance and the reporting system. In a sense to develop and enhance the system for reporting abuse, very accessible to young men and for it to be handled with sensitivity and appropriately because there are number of cases where young men may go to report at CPA or go to report somewhere, say like, hey, I've been sexually abused and nothing's really done.
Mm-hmm.
And so due to the stigma and in Guyana and even in the Caribbean, even worldwide, I should say. So there's a stigma when it comes to young men being sexually abused.
Mm-hmm.
So we really want to work on that.
Okay. Well, you want to perhaps go. I mean, we know, we
Mm-hmm.
would say we know about why there might be a stigma, but what has the research found that to be really this sort of stigma? I almost said discrimination. I don't know if that can tie in, but why do you think has
Mm-hmm.
the research found is this sort of stigma there?
It comes down to toxic masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
I would want to say, and even researchers saying due to cultural issues way back, whenever, not just in Guyanese context, but in the international countries as well,
Mm-hmm.
research has shown that because of, cultural issues and even social issues, men are known to, be strong and they shouldn't cry, and so when it comes to them being sexually abused, you would hardly find a boy reporting that he was raped or he was touched wrongfully.
Mm-hmm.
And this is even when it comes to opposite sex or same sex. And so you would hardly find it because of society mainly. And so we really want to work on that. And at Shilink, we have been trying
Mm-hmm.
because we teach a lot about gender equality and gender-based violence and a lot of topics when it comes to gender because we want to normalize it. We don't want it to be a taboo topic, and so it's a lot of work, but we've been trying really, me and my team, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that I think can take us into the next question, which is how can adults or parents support boys who are victims of child sexual abuse? What can be done to help them get through it, not over it, but get past that sort
Yeah.
of situation in their lives?
Um, for me, I want to say a lot of, and I'm speaking in Guyanese context, so I want to say start believing and supporting your children, your young males, your sons and so forth, even your grandsons, a cousin, a nephew. I want to affirm that you believe them and let them know that you're there to support them, right? The initial response to disclosure of abuse is crucial, and so you want to believe them and support them. Just don't shun them away. And then seeking professional help because sometimes parents may not know how to deal with the situation. So you want to first listen to your child, believe and support them, and then you reach for professional help in the sense of arranging for a professional counseling from therapists who are specialized in dealing with child abuse. And so persons from the Child Protection Agency, and also there's Child Link Inc. And there's also Blossom Inc. So there's no more resources where persons could reach out for seeking professional help. And then another thing is maintaining normalcy in the sense of keep your child daily life as normal as possible and avoid like over scrutinizing their actions. Sometimes as children, they may do some stuff and they're scrutinized for their actions. So you wanna kind of maintain normalcy when it comes between a parent and a child. And then lastly, I'll say providing safety and security. So reassure them that they are safe now and that what happened is not their fault. Like it shouldn't have happened, but it did. But let them know that you're here to help them go through this entire process and abuse that they've been through. So I'll just go back a bit. So it comes down to believing and supporting your children, and then you want to seek professional help, and then you want to provide a safe and secure place for your child.
Okay, so you don't
Yeah,
have things like repeating it, bringing it up for
correct.
discussion, and so on from time to time. Huh? Yeah.
Yes, because that might traumatize the child, and you don't want to do that. So when you seek professional help, the therapist or the counselor may be able to, well, not maybe, but they will help the parents as to how to deal with the issue as well as helping that child with their trauma. Hmm.
All right. Um, Victims now. Let's talk about what you can say to them now. What advice would you give to boys who might have been victims of sexual abuse? What would you say to them?
First, I wanna any victim out there that may be listening to me, I would want to say it's not your fault. I understand that what happened is surely not your fault and you're not to be blamed. And then also, I want to let persons know to find someone trustworthy to talk to. So it could be a parent, and as you know, students they spend like all day in school, like from 9 to 3 o'clock. So I know some students may have a teacher where they confine in and find them trustworthy, and somebody that's confidential, so you can speak with a teacher that you trust and a counselor. Just find an adult that you trust and to talk about what happened, and you feel as if your instinct, you know that this person would be able to help you. So that's another way, they can help. And then know your rights as a young person, and this is for both male and females. You wanna know your rights. You have the right to be safe. You have the right to be protected. What happened to you should be reported, and the perpetrator should be held accountable. So it shouldn't be a case where you don't report the issue, and it shouldn't be a case where the person that inflicted this abuse on you can be held accountable. Know your rights as a human being. You can go on Google and other websites to check out, rights of a human child. The United Nations has a whole lot of constituency rights when it comes to rights of the child. So I'll just, want to tell persons to check that and read up. And then to seek help, please don't be afraid to ask for professional help. Therapy can be incredibly beneficial when it comes to healing from trauma. I know some people would say, oh, they don't want to go to a therapist because there's also a stigma when it comes to going to therapy and when it comes to taking counseling.
Head
People are always
shrinkers.
stigmatizing when it comes, oh, this person's crazy, but no. Don't be afraid to ask for professional help because trauma is a very real thing and it could lead to more dangerous stuff happening to you. So I want to say again, it's not your fault. Find someone trustworthy to talk to, know your rights as a human being, and also seek help.
I like the fact that you mentioned therapy as a
Yeah.
way of dealing and handling with situations like these. And I think what people should know as well is that, you know, not only for victims of sexual abuse or anything like that, but generally difficulties within your life,
Mm-hmm.
it's always great to have someone there to be able to talk to, you know? And so they might not necessarily be a counselor, even though
Yeah.
you're recommending a professional so that they're able to handle that. But sometimes it is really great to have someone just to be able to talk to and say, well, this is what is happening with me. And, you know, what do you think sometimes? Because some people might have a bit of experience and how they can advise you to get through whatever might be bothering you at the time. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Get a
Yeah.
therapist. All right.
Get a therapist indeed.
Um, in Guyana now, let's talk about the Guyana situation and services which are available for victims of child sexual abuse. What is on offer here, um, and how can people access them?
All right, great. So persons can access counseling and therapy services at here right at Chilink Inc. We're located at 213 BB Eccles. We also have several CSCs in different regions, as well as Blossom Inc. They also provide counseling therapy service for persons that are suffered from sexual abuse or have experienced abuse, and they also have trauma counseling as well. So they're located in Region 1. There's CSCs in Region 3, Region 4, Region 5, Region 6, Region 7, Region 8, and 9. Um, for TriLink, they control Region 3, Region 4, Region 5, 6, 9, and 8. The other regions is controlled by Blossom Inc., but persons, young persons, male or female, could go to the CACs. They could call us to get the direct location, and they will be able to get counseling and therapy services done and trauma counseling as well. There's also the legal part of it where they can go to the Child Protection Agency. The Child Protection Agency is actually the first step that a child may will need to go, and then they'll be referred to either Child Inc. or Blossom Inc. And so the legal aspect is Child Protection Agency, where they will call persons from the Guyana Police Force, where FI training will be done. So it's a forensic interview, just to get a sense of ideas what happened, what took place, and then they move on from there. There's also different support groups that person may have for survivors of sexual abuse. And it's usually in certain communities. So persons could reach out to us as well for this information. And then there are services at, medical care at the hospitals. There are cases where persons may be abused so bad that they may need immediate and ongoing medical care to address the physical and the psychological effects of that abuse. So we know there's GPHC, but there's also the private entities that persons could go at. And then there's a lot of educational resources as well and programs that are currently going on. So they can check out Childlink Inc. again. So I would say Childlink Inc. is one of the places to go or your go-to. And then there's also Blossom Inc. as well, yeah. But there are services to help, and we're here for a long time. It's just a call away. We also have WhatsApp and Facebook, so they just need to message us.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to, just in case someone's probably now tuning in, I know we've been
Hmm.
talking for quite a while. This is
Yeah.
93.1 Real FM, the People's Choice. And with me is Mr. Shaquille Rodney joining me via Zoom this morning. And he is a diversion officer with ChildLink. And we are talking about the Blue Umbrella Day 2024 campaign, which is today. Blue Umbrella Day is today. So
Yes.
let's go back to that, and you can probably give us a gentle reminder of what this day is about and the message that we're expecting to send at the end of this discussion. So just a quick
Sure.
recap for us.
Yeah. So the Blue Umbrella Day basically it's a campaign that happens every year. And so it's really dedicated to raising awareness and addressing the issue of sexual violence against boys. That's one of the main aim. We just want to address the issue that we know that it happens to females as well, but it's really overlooked when it comes to our young men in society. And so this day actually is more dedicated to young men, and we just want to raise awareness and address the issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add that perhaps I might have forgotten to mention in the conversation as as we come down towards the end of this wonderful discussion on the Blue Umbrella Day campaign 2024, and of course the work that you've been doing and the bits of advice that you've also been giving? Is there anything else that you wish to add?
I'll just end it with saying a lot of efforts from everyone in our society and even internationally is very crucial when it comes to supporting and protecting and healing our boys who have been victims of sexual abuse, especially for the victims that their stories have not been told as yet. And to prevent such incidents from recurring in the first place, we really need persons to start bringing awareness about sexual violence for boys. We want to encourage our young men to speak up and let them know that we're here to help them. Yeah.
All right. Well, Shakil, I want to thank you so much for sharing this time with us on 93.1. And of course, thank you as well to the folks at ChatLink for the fabulous work that you've been doing over time and sharing that message with our listeners, of course. And I hope that everyone who's been listening this morning will be able to have some sort of takeaway from this discussion, and that we can get this situation under control and let people know as well that there is help and they should not feel guilty or feel that anything that happened to them is their fault. Thank you so much for
Yes.
sharing the time with us
Thank you
today.
so much for having me today. Mhm.
This is 93.1 Real FM, the People's Choice. Stay tuned for the news at 11 hours. You're tuned to 93.1 Real FM, the People's Choice. Stay tuned for the news at 11 o'clock. I'm sure everyone's been advised by now of the change in the of a change in the traffic situation with regards to Carifesta Avenue in Georgetown. So there is a traffic advisory that Monday to Friday, the traffic will be flowing westbound on Carifesta Avenue. All lanes will be open to westbound traffic. If you're heading to the East Coast, you will not be able to use Carifesta Avenue Monday to Friday during the hours of 7 to 8 hours 30. All right, 7 to 8 hours 30 to minimize the buildup of traffic along Carifesta Avenue, etc. It will now be made into a one lane heading west. And if you're heading on the East Coast, you will be able to use the Seawall Road heading east only. So that's a traffic advisory for those of you using the roadways, especially the vicinity of Carifesta Avenue. Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 hours 30, it will be one-way traffic heading west only. If you're heading up the East Coast, you will need to divert through the Seawall Road for eastbound traffic only. So just a little bit of an update there. From the Guyana Police Force. Carifesta Avenue is now open to westbound traffic only between Camp Road and the Kitty Roundabout, or this is Monday to Friday between 7 hours to 8 hours 30. All right, stay tuned for the news at 11 o'clock on 93.1 Real FM, the People's Choice.